Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. Oh, my headphones were going a little crazy there. I think they're back to normal now. That was a weird little echo that happened there. Anyway, welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm so glad that you are joining me this morning, you guys. So yesterday when I was headed out for my run, I was walking around the farm, in bare feet again. And it just like, I'm getting ready to go for a run. I just grabbed my runners and I was outside walking to the gym and stuff. And I'm just walking around in bare feet. Okay. It's January. It's January 6th. I can't say that I remember. I can't remember a time when it has been like this warm in northern Colorado in January. Like, it's kind of crazy. And as I'm talking to you, as we're, sitting down and having these assessments and whatnot, I'm getting weirdness from everybody when it comes to weather. They're like, yeah, we're down here in Indiana and it's like 30 one day and then it's like 60 the next day. And over here, we're not getting any snow. We usually have snow. And then like down in Florida, it's been kind of cool. And then it's like everybody's weirded out by the weather. So, and then of course, when you and I get talking, it's like right away, we're like, yep. And they've been spraying us and And indeed they have. We know they have. So anyway, I'm enjoying it as much as I possibly can. Try not to think about too much like why it's so warm here in northern Colorado right now. I'm just trying to enjoy it. And I hope things are going well for you too in this first week of 2026. How's it going? Are you knocking it out of the park? Are you sticking to your commitments for your nutrition, for your supplementation, for your movement, for your stress management, all of the things? I hope you are, because you deserve it. So much going on in the news every single day. But I have to tell you, Candace is back. Right? Did you see this? Candace is back off of her, Christmas vacation or what have you, even though, things were exploding the whole time she was gone. She's a liar. She's this, Alex Jones going to war with Candace, which, I don't entirely believe that scenario for some reason. Like, I feel like, I don't know, it could be way off base here, but I do feel as though maybe Alex is like putting on a bit of a performance. I mean, I know he gets all crazy and everything, and he makes me laugh when he's like that. But I don't know. I'm not sure what this is about in his case. I don't get it. Because again, like, I don't really have full on, judgment one way or the other yet, because guess what? Neither does Candace. Like, she actually doesn't know yet what happened. And of course, we're talking about Charlie Kirk's death. And she says that all the time. And she's just following leads and trying to figure out what happened to her friend. And so nobody knows right now, exactly what happened. Only the people who were involved could possibly know what truly happened, right? So we don't know what happened yet. But I mean, if you just listen to her, everyone that's saying that she's a liar, she's crazy, she's this, she's that, I'm sorry, but you're making yourselves look bad. Because if you truly are listening to her, I listen to her, and then I listen to other people's content about her, and I'm like, yeah, we weren't listening to the same thing, or you're lying. And so, what am I going to do? Because they're doing a terrible job of discrediting her. Like, really a terrible job of discrediting her. And it's like, it's just making you look bad. Okay. So anyway, I watched her latest episode. And so I like, it's so weird. It's like, it's like, people who are really like in pursuit of the truth, I just feel like we're kind of on the same frequency, getting the same messages, maybe thinking the same patterns. I don't know what you want to call it, but we're all dialed in because we're thinking the same thing. Remember how I've been telling you? Like, I don't know who had Tim Dillon leading the sane train in 2026, right? The sane train. Tim Dillon, comedian, but he is saying some things that have just, I told you, they've been resonating with me. And then here Candace comes back, and guess what she's talking about? How much Tim Dillon is resonating with her. It's just like, yeah, are we the only ones like that just see the insanity? Like, can we get some common sense back? Anyway, let's go to some clips here. I want to share the first one with you, Candace Owens.
I could spend a week discussing this tent. I could probably do a month of content describing what it was like for me when I saw the tent and how I felt seeing the tent and what this tent actually now represents. What am I referring to? Let's take a listen to a reporter who was at AmFest describe the scene behind her in the hallway outside of the speaking area. Take a listen.
And you can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it.
I can't. I cannot. I am not capable of whatever that. When I saw this, I realized I do not know enough words. I had to consult a thesaurus, and I still could not land upon the correct adjective to describe how I felt when I saw that tent, people taking selfies under a recreation. I don't know if it's actually a tent. It looks like it's pretty old, or a tent that Charlie died under. That's what was happening at AmFest. Horrified. I was aghast. I don't think I ever described myself as aghast. I was aghast. It was ghastly to look at that and to realize that they made a conscious decision to allow that to happen. To what end? Okay. I was so gassed. I messaged people inside of Turning Point. I said, I want to know who approved this, because I know what's going to come next. You're going to say, oh, we don't know how it happened, and something fell through the cracks, and so much was going on. And we had no idea the tent that Charlie died on was being brought in as a display. We had no idea that was happening. So I messaged and I said, who did this? Who approved?
Listen, okay, listen, before we go to the next part of this clip here, I want to say this. Like, when everyone was jumping on Erica Kirk saying, like, you know, she's mourning this way or mourning that way, and it was not right what she's doing and this and that, like, everyone jumped on. Listen, I defended her at the beginning. You know, I was like, this is wrong, you know, and like, nobody should be judging anybody about anything. Like, this woman's husband was killed. And I even, you know, when she posted the creepy video of him in the casket, I even thought, well, you know what? She's of a different era than I am, right? She's a different generation. She's younger. They do everything through social media. Right? This age group does everything through social media. So, like, social media was so much a part of their life. Like, I don't know. I was trying to justify it. Okay? Because I was trying to not, you know, be judgmental here. Okay. But I absolutely thought it was bizarre. Like, I would never do something like that. It's just like, very weird. So the tent thing also incredibly weird. So Candace was at a loss for words. I'm not. Putrid, gross, weird, freaky. What's wrong with you people? These are the words that come to mind when I saw that deal, right? I don't understand this. But you guys, this is the theme I've been pointing out. People are not responding appropriately to situations. And this has been going on for quite a long time, okay? We see people filming crime before stepping in and doing anything about it. You know, women being raped on the subway, and people are just filming it. They're not stepping in. Like, hello, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Okay. We saw somebody, I think it was in Vancouver, British Columbia, get killed outside of Starbucks, right? And people filmed it, watched the guy run away. What is wrong with you? Okay. I think I might know, but listen to the second part.
I want to know, because I have no authority to fire these people, but I want to pretend like I can fire the people who made this decision, everyone involved. And the answer that I got, you're not going to believe this, or you will believe this, that the person who approved this tent was the amazing Elizabeth McCoy. Potentially more amazing than her husband, Michael McCoy. Elizabeth McCoy was the person who approved this tent. So there's no way that they can come out and pretend like Erica didn't know this was happening, because she's very close with Elizabeth McCoy. Okay, she's very close with her. So for everybody on the outside looking into this, AmFest is when we realized that something very disturbing is happening in America. I feel like AmFest is, or what it did for me was it contributed to my realization that the future, the dark future that everyone's always predicting, like the AI future, it's here. We're actually here. I think that we are fighting machines. I think that these people are not humans, that they're sentinels that maybe look like humans. That's how I feel. I feel like it's the single solitary event that contributed to my realization that the future is happening right now. And the issue that a lot of these, the gap that's between us and the rest of them is essentially they don't know how to behave like humans. You know what I mean?
Oh boy, do I know what she means. Oh boy, do I know what she means. So as I'm listening to her talk about this, I'm like, yes. See, this is what I've been describing. This disconnect between people whose consciousness is captured by the algorithm. captured by the algorithm. So I think, hear me out, okay? Do I think people are reptilians or whatever? That's not where I'm going with this, okay? Technology-induced behavior disorder. I've told you about this, right? I think this is at play here, and I think I can explain it better when we come back. You are listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia, and I am so glad that you are here. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
We're back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. Take advantage at the Naturally Inspired store. You want to stock your arsenal up with wellness products. Now is the time to do it. We have over 25 products available that are buy one, get one free. I love a bargain. And I know you do too. So take advantage of this. There's wonderful products there. Antioxidants. We have probiotic there. We have gummy omega-3s and so much more. So stock up your pantry with all the supplements that you need at naturallyinspiredstore.com. All our specials are on our monthly flip book. So you just have to click the January specials there at Naturally Inspired Store. It'll take you through this beautiful little flip book that Jason has designed. So you can check out everything that's buy one, get one free. If you have any questions at all, just text me, 720-303-8868. It's really me. I will answer. So if you have any questions at all about the buy one, get one free, just shoot me a text. Happy to answer them. Okay, so Jason texted me a technology-induced brain disorder, behavior disorder. I haven't decided which one I'm going with yet. Okay, I've been talking about this now for years. And Harvard backs me up. Listen, it's not my research. You don't like what I'm saying? Then take it up with Harvard, okay? Because there are multiple studies that have been done at Harvard and other places that indicate that there is a changing of the brain because of the amount of engagement we have with technology. It is changing behavior, okay? So here's the thing. I'm calling it a disorder. I don't know if in the future we're going to call it a disorder. It feels like a disorder to me. It feels like a disorder to me because, and it might to you too, because we're analog people living in a digital world, right? And so it feels like, hey, these people are not responding the way they should be in certain situations. Like, what's going on with them? Like, were you raised in a barn? Like, what's happening here? That's what it feels like to us, because I think that maybe our brains have already developed. And so we weren't as suggestible, or we didn't get impacted as much as people who are younger, who have spent too much of their life down the portal, as I call it, right? The phone is the portal. Down into the algorithm they go, down into the scroll hole, right? That is wiring your neural pathways. And I call it technology-induced brain disorder, maybe, behavior disorder. In this case, I think it's behavior disorder because technology has shaped their behavior so that when they see something in real life, when they have a real interaction, they're not able to respond the same way we do. They don't have the neural pathways for it. And that is what I think Candace is talking about here. So let me explain a little bit more. Do you ever feel like you hear about something, you hear about something happening, or you hear about something that's going to happen in the future, or you see it in movies? You see something happening in a movie and you're like, wow, that's crazy the way that went down, right? Or you hear a story about it and it's very dramatic and it's like, wow, that's crazy that the way that went down. And then, you get a sense of how it will happen, how this specific event will happen. Like maybe you thought, man, if I ever get mugged, this is the way I'm going to deal with it, because you have this mental movie of how people are mugged, right? And so you feel like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But when it happens, your brain almost has a hard time translating it into reality. Most people who are getting mugged, they don't realize they're getting mugged until like, oh my gosh, and then it's all about, well, I should have done this or I should have done that after the fact. Now, I'm sure there's probably a name for this and I don't know what it is, but I find that is happening all the time these days. Biblical things. This is the best explanation or example I can use is we read about things in the Bible, right? We read about things in the Bible like, truth becomes, everything's upside down. I'm going to butcher the wording here, but pretty much like a lie becomes the truth and a truth becomes a lie. Like there's so much chaos in the world. We can't distinguish the truth anymore. Like the Bible tells us that these things are going to happen and yet we're living them and we still have this disconnect because we've been reading about it so long and we have this impression of the way things are going to unfold. And so when they don't unfold in that way, then we're like, oh, is this really happening? We start questioning, like, is this that? Or is this something else? Like we seem to have a really hard time identifying what is going on in the real world. I hope that makes sense, what I'm saying here, because this whole transhumanism thing, right? So we've been talking about transhumanism, right? What transhumanism is coming. What's it going to look like? Are we going to have robotic arms? Are we going to have bionic legs? Are we going to have, this, what's it called? The Neuralink? Maybe not, right? Maybe transhumanism has already been happening because it's actually neural entrainment. Neural entrainment through crazy amounts of programming from the algorithm, from being on social media, from being down the scroll hole. We're seeing the gap, right? So somebody like Candace, she's like, oh my gosh, like these people are like, I think they're hybrids. Like they're not reacting. She's absolutely right. In our world where we were raised, posing in front of a tent where someone was assassinated and taking photos like it's some kind of social flex. The world we're from says that's disgusting, very, very strange, morbid, bizarre, right? The world we're from says, going on to a stage with, pyrotechnics and in a glitter pantsuit, 3 months and declaring that JD Vance is going to be the next politician, having a very public funeral where all these, political people are eulogizing your husband and stuff. I'm not trying not to judge, but like, this is weird to me. Like I would never, that's just weird. Okay. Because we think of grief, we think of deep, deep pain. When we think of grief, we think of deep, deep pain. But these people that I think are living with technology-induced behavior disorder, technology-induced brain disorder, whatever we can decide, we can decide on what we're going to call it. Maybe this is the transhumanism. We're expecting it to show up in the form of Neuralink. We're expecting it to show up in gene therapy and all of these augmentations, but maybe that's just like another level of it. So yeah, I found it really interesting that she was saying that because I think she maybe just doesn't like have a vocabulary. She's like so weirded out about how people are acting like they're not acting human. They're not acting like in a human way that we're used to. Okay. So in addition to that, I got another clip here from you. This is just so weird, right? Because I've been telling you, Tim Dillon's like on point. He is on point about the only, like I can barely listen to people right now because I just feel like they're not quite getting it. But I do feel like Tim Dillon gets it. Check this one out.
Of what's happening right now. And Tim Dillon is about to explain this. And I have a lot of Tim Dillon clips because he just spoke to me when I heard his take on everything. But the result is that right now what's happening in this country and really all over the world is that everything feels weird and wrong. That's why I kept saying last year that everything is fake and gay. It feels like we're watching a movie. It feels like we're all in the Truman Show and everyone around us are actually robots. And things have gotten so abnormal that even things that should be abnormal, like RFK sexting, which is what Tim Dillon's about to describe, feels like that's the most normal thing going on. Take a listen to Tim Dillon.
What a profoundly dysfunctional society we have. There's nothing to look up to. There's no one to be excited about. Really, the least controversial member of this administration is RFK Jr. Can you imagine? He's the least scandal-prone member of the administration. And every 3 days, there's another text leaking from him where he's like, open your mouth. I want to put my seed in you. And that's somehow the best part of this whole thing. His sacks are nowhere near as scandalous is like Kash Patel, the FBI director, is sitting there updating you on his girlfriend's country music tour. It's hell. It's absolutely hell. And Erica Kirk, God bless, tragic, and I'm sorry for what happened, but nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out. She's out there talking to Nicki Minaj. People are confused. What's going on? Those are the three words that sum up this whole entire mess that we've created for ourselves.
He's right. What is going on sums up how we all feel right now. And I also would like to mention here another confusing part that we kind of didn't discuss enough. Another confusing part of that Barry Weiss interview that we should discuss more. Everyone was making TikToks about the stop, just stop, but actually the most effed up part about that interview was CBS's decision to bring Hunter Kozak.
Completely bizarre. When I heard that, like they're recreating. So is this for shock value? Like, what are they doing there? Bringing in this leftist guy who is the last person to ask Charlie Kirk a question, bringing him there to ask his widow the same question or a different, like, woo, again, not normal, right? Not a normal behavior. Not in the world we grew up in, right? Totally bizarre. Totally bizarre. And I think what makes this even weirder is that there are so many people, I think, wrapped up in the algorithm, their consciousness captured. as I always talk about, like the algorithm is hypnotizing people. It is stealing your consciousness. I've been saying this over and over again because this is what I'm talking about. That type of behavior that they are doing. Another point here, think about this. Turning Point has been so upset with Candace because she told everybody, don't send them money. That's what they're upset about. Don't send them money. They're upset that she said that. They're not upset that they're implicated, suggested that possibly they may have something to do with a plot to kill Charlie Kirk. It shows you where their priorities are. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Did you know we have curated some protocols for you? We have curated these protocols to fit exactly what you need. You can pick your protocol at naturallyinspiredstore.com. And all these protocols are free shipping as well. So if you have issues with energy, I've got a protocol for that. If you have issues with hormone health, I've got a protocol for that. If you're looking for, help with just about anything, we're putting more and more protocols on there every day so that you can get hooked up with the tools that you need. And of course, when you make a purchase, you get yourself into the Naturally Inspired community. So you get support. You get my health text line, you get our Tuesday night weekly wellness workshops, and you get an assessment with me as well, so we can really put together a strong plan for your optimum health journey. So pick your protocol today, get free shipping at naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you have any questions about, hey, what protocols do you think is best for me? Text me, 720-303-8868. So I find it interesting, first of all, Candace and Dylan, I think, are like a little bit younger than the Gen X generation. But recently I've kind of heard this term called X millennials. And this is kind of like at the cutoff, these millennials that are kind of like at the cutoff at the end of Gen X, right? But they're technically millennials. And I think that I wonder, okay, because I'm not a scientist, but I just wonder, like, could we get a study here that really dials it in so that we can learn, like, is there any science here that, like, in correlation with the onset of daily technology use, like a cell phone, like, the iPad or whatever came out first, where we can see these differences in people's brains. Because I think that early part of the millennial generation, they still seem to kind of get it. They still seem to kind of get it, and they're not fully swallowed up. Now, I don't want to put everybody in the same, paint because, like, I didn't even give my kids technology, and they're technically Gen Z, right? They didn't have video games until I think my son was like 11 or 12. We got a Wii. one of those, remember the Wii where they jump around, play tennis and stuff like that, or guitar or whatever that was. But they weren't really that into it because they were more into being outside. You know, we were doing stuff here at the farm. Shortly after that, we moved to the farm, and then there was all kinds of stuff to do out here, right? Like that needed work to get done. You know, I had 12, 13-year-olds that were, humping wheelbarrows of dirt into the garden, so they were busy. They didn't really have time to do that. And then they didn't get phones until they were 14 and 15. So I'm not painting everybody with the same brush here. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, my kids aren't that way. How'd you raise your kids? Because there's a whole term for iPad kids. And I have seen some tantrums, you guys, that I wouldn't wish on my worst nightmare over technology. So when a child is raised on an iPad, it is programming their neural pathways. And when that sucker gets taken away and that kid is literally addicted to the iPad, it is not pretty. It is not pretty. And I know there's going to be people that get mad, but listen, these iPad kids that are raised on iPads, they don't like to make eye contact. They're not comfortable having conversations one-on-one. They can't make phone calls. Like they really struggle socially. The comfort that they get from technology is real to them. And being without it is a struggle. And so, listen, they're not going to act what we would think as appropriately in situations because they just don't have the experience. The real life experience, what came naturally to us, like, oh my gosh, someone has died. This is not a time to set off pyrotechnics and wear a glitter pantsuit. This is not the time to reenact. Oh my gosh, it's even hard to say, to reenact and take selfies. Somebody needs to do an etiquette class. I've talked about that for social things now for years. Like, my mom raised me, if you're going to go to someone's house for dinner, like you bring a gift, right? A lot of people don't know that now. A lot of people don't know that now. That's not standard operating procedure. And people barely go to each other's houses for dinner anymore. So like culture has changed. And I know, I'm just an old person, like getting mad that things are changing. Maybe, but also like, this is harmful. Like this is really harmful. And I think much more dramatic than say the change from when our parents were growing up. Those dang kids listen to that loud rock and roll. I think it's a little different this time, because we are losing like our humanity. Our humanity is slipping away. And this more machine-based culture is arising. And I don't think that's headed anywhere good or healthy. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right? Because look at the amount of mental illness that we're grappling with in this country, right? Our kids are highly medicated. They're getting all kinds of diagnoses, ADHD, ADD, autism spectrum, all of them, all these things. And keep in mind, it's not like you have a gene for ADD. Certainly gene mutations make you more susceptible to having anxiety and, maybe not the capability to concentrate or whatever, right? If your detox pathways are a little blocked up. But we're not looking even for root cause to these things. We're not even contemplating, okay, there can be a biological reason for ADD, meaning something like the MTHFR gene mutation. But also, this is environmental. So we have this food issue as well, right? Where we have these chemicalized, ultra-processed foods that contribute to things like ADHD diagnosis or what have you, right? So we have that as a variable that we should be looking at. But we also have, technology that has, become a part of everybody's life. Virtually every waking minute of the day, people are on their phones, whether they're listening to things, whether they're scrolling on social media, looking for answers for something they're, watching a YouTube video. We don't crack open the old home maintenance textbook anymore to fix the sink. No, we go to YouTube, right? So think about this, like so much of our time is spent on technology, and we've put very little contemplation to how this is impacting our biology, our brains, our neural pathways. What impact is this having on society? I give you this whole scenario of what Tim Dillon and Candace Owens are talking about here. People are not acting normal. People are confused. We are elevating people who, don't necessarily have the greatest history, right? People like, Nicki Minaj, like, I don't even know. I don't even want to say what those people have done. You know what I mean? And we're elevating these people, and we're just, we're taking the wrong approach. Nothing is merit-based anymore, right? You can pay your way onto any stage. If you got the money, you can pay your way onto any stage. And that's precisely what Nicki Minaj was doing on that stage. She's expanding her brand, okay? Showing up at TPUSA, and that was, that was a crazy scenario in itself, where she completely stuck her foot in her mouth, and she called J.D. Vance an assassin in the middle of her conversation with Erica Kirk, whose husband was just assassinated. Like, you can't make it up. It's just bizarre. It is bizarre. But I said yesterday, I think it was, that America has like a hero problem as well, right? We're addicted to heroes. And we continue to, put heroes up on pedestals like, they should never have anything imperfect about them. And then when we do find something imperfect about them, we totally tear them down, and they're no longer valuable for the contributions they've made. And so I'm not saying, everybody has to be perfect to be able to bring value to a subject or value to our society. That's not what I'm saying here. Because obviously, Tim Dillon was making jokes about Bobby Kennedy there. And I am a big fan of Bobby Kennedy. Yes, I am. You know why? Because even today, and I have this in our news stories, or yesterday rather, it was last night I got the news that our vaccine schedule has been dramatically reduced. And that is a huge win for us. And I'll tell you right now, Bobby Kennedy Jr. is he's the reason that we got this done. So whatever he does, I don't care. It doesn't have to be perfect. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Did you know that you can schedule your free health assessment today? All you have to do is go to naturallyinspiredstore.com. Scroll down the page a little bit. You'll see a graphic there that says schedule your free health assessment today. Schedule with Tammy here. Then you just click that. That'll take you right over to my calendar, and you can pick a time where we can sit down and have a little chat. I usually, it says 30 minutes, and sometimes we go 30 minutes. But I'll be honest, sometimes a lot longer than that. It just depends on what we have to cover. I really enjoy spending my time with you. Let me tell you, you are so interesting. I talked to a gal today, and she's, spent 30 years climbing poles, not the dancing poles. That probably didn't come out right. Anyway, sorry about that. But she was running cable, like the linemen, like she did that. And she's just hilarious. And I had such a great conversation with her. So shout out to Dana, because that was a great conversation that we had. But anyway, I tell you, you guys are so interesting. Talk to somebody else who, ran a flower shop in New York for years and provided flowers for all kinds of people, famous people and stuff. Like, you all are so interesting, and I love getting to know you, and I love working alongside you as you pursue your optimum health journey. So book your free assessment. Let's have a talk. You can schedule at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Just scroll down a little bit and book with me today. If you have any questions about it, okay, just text me 720-303-8868. All right, let's get to our naturally inspired moment for today. This is a good one. It came to me on my run yesterday, and I thought, oh yes, we're going to talk about that because this is very, very important. I'm always talking about mastering my nervous system and how important it is that we all master our nervous systems, especially because right now it is more important than ever that we step into our agency when it comes to claiming our culture in America, when it comes to being a model for the youth, right? And even our peers, right? We have to model courage right now. We have to model the things that we want to see more of. And sometimes that can be really taxing on your nervous system. Okay. So I want to give you another tool for your toolbox, and it is vocal entrainment. So today I want to talk about vocal entrainment and 5 strategies to use vocal entrainment intentionally. So your voice is not just communication. It's regulation. It's not only regulation in you, but it's regulation in other people as well. Your nervous system's entrained to the strongest signal in the room, and often that signal is your tone. If we don't repair emotional patterns, we repeat them, and our voice carries that history. Listen, your voice changes people's heartbeat. Yes. So when I talk about frequency and how, you feel it all the time, right? You either connect with somebody or you don't. You know what I'm saying? You either trust them immediately or you don't. What is that? What is that, right? That's your frequency that you're emitting. And sometimes when we are dialed in, I always like to liken it to a radio station, right? If you're dialing in to a radio station and you can't quite get the station, it's kind of staticky, right? And then the further away you get from the signal, the more staticky and the less clear it is. The closer you get it dialed into the signal, the more clear it comes in. That's kind of like the energy that we exchange as humans. And so one of the biggest tools that we have to create that energy, to connect that frequency, our voice. So it's called vocal entrainment. And so here are 5 strategies how you can be a little bit more intentional with it and use it as a tool to help connect to the right people, the ones that you want to, right? And also be heard and communicate better. So number 1, slow before you speak. Speed signals threat. So before you speak, slow your breath, then slow your words. Because rushing often comes from past urgency or fear, right? Trying to predict what's going to be the outcome instead of staying in the present. That's very important. So when you slow your voice down, it helps you stay in the present instead of, using part of your brain to jump ahead and predict what's going to happen. That's what creates urgency, and you'll talk too fast because you're worried about it. So stay in the present. Use your voice as a way to stay in the present by slowing down your voice. A slower voice tells the room, we're safe here. There's no chaos. Okay? Even in the tensest moments. Number 2, drop your pitch, not your power. So the higher pitch often signals anxiety or appeasement. A lower pitch signals grounded leadership. So many people learn to raise their voice to be heard. A grounded tone commands attention without any force. Okay? So that's, and not only that, but people will mirror your voice. So this happened all the time as I was learning how to interview on my podcast, I would have certain guests, and some guests would be, a little bit more anxious. And so they would talk a little bit faster, and they would, I found it was rubbing off on me. I found that I was absorbing their energy. And so it was making me feel like, la, 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 that's the technical term, by the way, la, 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 la. But when I learned, if I slow down, they'll slow down. And then we can just relax through the conversation, right? So that was a powerful realization for me. And it didn't come naturally. It's all about trial and error. So think about that. That you are actually able to control the conversation, bring it back a little bit, and just bring more peace. Not in a manipulative way, but in an effective way, right? Because we have to have peace in order to get to the best outcomes, right? Usually the best outcomes don't come from chaos, right? So it's not about manipulating anybody or getting the upper hand on anybody. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying it's leadership, and it's a tool. And it's a tool so that you can use to bring peace to any kind of situation. Okay? Number 3, use pauses as authority. So silence is regulation. A pause allows other people's nervous system to catch up to yours. So if they are already, chaotic, a little bit chaotic or nervous, or maybe, they're caught off guard by something, give them space, right? Because if they don't have space, they can't re-regulate. They can't regulate to what the tone is in the room. And it's totally okay to have silence. Can you handle silence? That's a real question here. Can you handle silence? Because of the rate of the information that we are taking in on a daily basis, it's got our brain so zipped up, that it's uncomfortable for some people just to be in silence. Are you uncomfortable with silence? It's a good test. So don't be afraid of silence. Over talking is often a fear of being dismissed. And pauses say, I trust myself in this moment, right? I trust myself. I trust that I will have time to communicate what I want to say. I don't need to rush. I can allow this person to speak, So another thing is, another tool I use is I often write things down so I don't overtalk people. So I don't want to forget my ideas, so I write them down. And that just writing down your thoughts while you are discussing something can help you organize them better and keep that peace. Number 4, match first, then lead. If a room is chaotic, don't fight it. Okay. Briefly match the energy and then gently slow it down. So if, you walk into a room and people are arguing, if you come in there like, Mr. Smooth as silk or whatever, then you come off as like a little bit condescending, So it cannot be taken as a strategy to improve the situation, but as kind of a know-it-all. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. So you want to kind of match just briefly match the energy, like, hey, what's going on in here? And then you want to match. You want to match it at the beginning and then bring it down. So I think of my kids all the time, right? When they were little, it's just, when they get all hyped up, and it's always like starts with play, right? It starts with playing and then somebody gets hurt. And then it's like, if you walk in the room and you don't match that energy, nobody's listening to you. You don't match that energy when you come in, hey, what's going on in here? Right? And then you slow it down. Okay. All right. Well, what happened? All right. Sit down. That's how you kind of bring it down in the room. Kids are a great way to practice this stuff too, because they're like, okay, whatever. Number 5, speak from the body, not the wound. What does that mean? You got to ask yourself, am I speaking from regulation? Right? Am I speaking from regulation or am I reacting? Because we all have wounds, right? We all have wounds from childhood where maybe we weren't heard, or, maybe we didn't get the attention that we deserved, or maybe we have abandonment issues. Like, we all got them. We all got them. You can't, if you've been living on this planet, you got them. You got some trauma there, right? And so make sure you're not speaking from your wound. You can kind of step outside your wound. Once you're aware of your wound, then you can kind of step outside of it and be like, okay, yeah, that's how I would react in that situation because this is a hurt point for me, right? Especially like, say you're the youngest child and everybody always talked over you and nobody listened to you, then you might feel like you've got to get your speaking in and nobody listens to you. So you have to kind of like push it to get your point across because you were the youngest child. Very common in family dynamics, right? Are you taking that position? Are you playing the role of your family dynamic? Or are you able to kind of step outside of it and be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come at it from a regulated place where I can make the situation better. A regulated voice rewrites the pattern in real time. So listen, we repeat what we don't repair. But when we regulate our voice, we repair the moment. This is such a big tool that you can use on a day-to-day basis, whether it's at work, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your kids. You can be the leader here just by using this tool of vocal entrainment. And again, it's not manipulation. It's intention. We want the best possible outcomes in our interactions, right? We're all tired of fighting. This world, it feels like we got to fight this, we got to fight that. We're fighting everything, right? And pretty soon there's no peace. So the more tools that we have to be able to create peace in our daily life, the happier we're going to be. And so why not, make the effort and lead by example, right? And and use your vocal entrainment to set intention in every situation. powerful, powerful tool, vocal entrainment. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. Oh my gosh, the first hour is already gone. My time with you, boop, like a blink of an eye. We'll be right back for hour 2. I've got news stories, announcements, and so much more. You're not going to want to miss it, so don't go anywhere.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia. I'm so glad you're joining me today. If you're just joining us now, this is the second hour and you missed the first hour, you got to go back. Let me tell you, you got to go back. You got to listen, because we were talking about Candace Owens, but we're talking about transhumanism. We're talking about the human consciousness and how our consciousness is being captured by algorithms. And I'm coining this new phrase. You can help me. I'm calling it technology-induced behavior disorder / technology-induced brain disorder. What do you think? Which one fits? It's like a weird, I don't want to say brain disorder, because right away, pharma's going to jump in and be like, we got a pill for that. I don't want to call it that, but it's a behavior thing, right? Like, people are not acting right. They are not acting right. And I think so many people recognize it. Certainly I'm not alone. Obviously Candace Owens sees it. Obviously Tim Dillon sees it. These other people are seeing it. So I'm not the only one. And I would put my money on it that you're seeing it too. I would put my money on that. Anyway, so we were talking about that. And then, of course, we had our naturally inspired moment. And so there's a whole lot in the first hour that you want to go back and catch. But now it is time for our American moment. Am I calling it the American moment? What am I calling this segment? American culture? That's a good one, I think, because, I've said to you now, I don't know how many times, but there are forces out there that desperately, Americana. I like that, Jason. I like that. Americana. Let's call it that. So the Americana segment, this is what we're calling it. There's a lot of people out there, forces, that want you to believe that you do not have a culture here in America. No, America doesn't have a culture. You're just made up of a mishmash of a bunch of immigrants that came together. You don't have a culture. You don't have a culture. And so I'm pushing back on that. And I know you are too. We absolutely do have a culture, and it is fantastic. And I tell you, every time I dive into this topic, I get excited about coming here on the show and telling you about it. And especially today, because I love language. I love language. I've always been like a reader and someone who loved language. And it's because it's so telling. Language is so telling. You give a lot away in your language, and people have no idea what they're giving away when they speak or when they write things, So anyway, today I want to talk about American language. I want to talk about how we ended up talking the way we do. And it's just so interesting. So watch this clip and then we'll get into it.
Countless accents. But where did they all come from? American accents have been evolving for hundreds of years. While Americans sound very different today, here's where some of those iconic accents got their start. Let's start with New England, which was one of the first U.S. regions to develop its own American English accent. Today, a speaker from New England might say,
"Were you going to plagiarize the whole thing for us? Do you have any thoughts of your own on this matter? Is that your thing? You come into a bar, you read some obscure passage, and then pretend you pawn it off as your own?"
For such a geographically small area, New York City certainly has a bunch of distinctive accents. But in general, its accents evolved from a mixture of its Dutch and English roots and numerous waves of immigration. A modern speaker from New York probably won't sound like what you hear in the movies.
Hey! I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
They're more likely to say,
"Deep dish pizza is not only not better than New York pizza, it's not pizza."
New York's New Jerseyan and Pennsylvanian neighbors sounded quite different. Nowadays, someone from Philly might say,
"We're your regular family. We watch the Phillies on TV. We go down to the Jersey Shore. But when we want great hoagies, discount prices on beer, and a great atmosphere, we go to Lee's Hoagies in Horsham, PA."
Let's take a look at what went on down south. The southern coast of the United States has a variety of different accents. One, for example, is Southern Coastal White.
What concerns me about the American press is this endless attempt to label the guy as some kind of kook.
And it just goes on and on. And I love this because it proves my point, kind of, right? Like, if we aren't truly frequency, if we aren't truly all connected as a network, then why are we so heavily influenced by the people around us? So much so that the voice that we project out of our bodies mirrors one another in geographical locations. Like, that in itself is fascinating, isn't it? I find that so fascinating because the way you talk the way you do because of your people, because of your people. You know, you pick up certain things from your grandma, right? And you pick up certain things from your dad or your mom or whatever. And this was so apparent to me because obviously I grew up in Canada, right? So I said things totally differently. When I moved to the United States, there were certain, slight changes in dialect that I was like, it took a while to assimilate and like understand what the meanings of words were. So like the use of bloody. In Canada, you say bloody all the time, right? Oh, the bloody thing fell apart, or this bloody thing. And in America, well, in Colorado, people don't really use that word. And when I used to use that word, they'd look at me like, it's a bit much, it's a bit much to say bloody, right? They didn't really, that's not a word that's used here. And it's very, it's used all the time, especially the way I grew up. And the other thing is quite. Another word was quite. Oh, I quite like that. I quite, that's very common in Canada, not in America. No, nobody says quite anything. Pissed. In America, pissed is mad. In Canada, pissed is drunk. Slightly different, right? Went out and got pissed last night. What are you so mad about? You see the confusion? Like, there's just these interchangeable meanings for our word. And it's because the people we are around shape us. And like generationally. And so across the globe, America is always like, well, they talk like that. They sound so like a lot of times, like I grew up thinking that all Americans talked like Texans, right? With like kind of a Southern drawl or a twang. And it turns out even in the state of Texas, and down south, there is differences in dialect. And that's because the people, it's your people. You talk like your people. And that unites us. So I think it's really cool. The other thing I wanted to say about American language is that we're unique in the way that we have these sayings. We have these sayings that have been around for a long time. And, other people in other countries, they have no idea. They have a lot of times have no idea. So in the 20s and 30s, there was sayings like the bee's knees. That meant something was excellent. Cat's pajamas, top tier, stylish. Giggle water in the 20s and 30s was alcohol. A speakeasy was a legal bar, which that is coming back now. You often see a lot of clubs now calling themselves a speakeasy. Hotsy-totsy means perfect or just right. Big cheese. Oh, they're the big cheese. That means an important person. And then a doll. She's a real doll. That was an attractive woman. Are we still allowed to say that? Probably not. Right? I think my son got in trouble for calling somebody a chick one time. And that came directly from me. I'll claim it. I do. I say, oh, that chick over there or that chick over there. It's just part of what. Anyway. The 40s and 50s, on the level, meant, if someone was on the level, means honest. If someone was a square, it means boring or conventional. If someone's cool, that means they're calm and admirable. And that's universal. So calling someone cool, that's still going strong today. If someone's ace, we don't really use that anymore. Excellent. And in the 60s, of course, we had a whole new wave of vocabulary with far out, groovy, right on, dig it, out of sight, all that weirdness. And then the 70s, it was more disco, right? So it's can you dig it, right on, bad, keep on trucking, heavy, and bread meant money. In the 80s, You know, my 80s babies out there ready for it. I bet you're already saying them. Gag me with a spoon. Totally rad, gnarly. That's bogus. What's your damage? Like, what's wrong with you? I don't remember that one so much. But definitely all the gag me with a spoon and totally awesome and all that. We're right there. In the 90s, that's when whatever entered the chat. All that as if, remember, clueless, as if, talk to the hand, word, those things. And then let's just get on to today's, because, you know, I try to keep up with these things. Jason doesn't at all. He could care less about the latest language, but I'm trying to keep up on it, man, because I want to understand what these kids are talking about. So like on point is big. That means you're accurate or stylish. Savage means you're bold or ruthless. That's a flex, means you're showing off. I was shook means you're shocked. No cap means no lie. Mid means average. It's giving means describing a vibe. Delulu, you're delulu, girl, means you're delusional. An NPC is an unthinkable follower. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredраdio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
It's Tuesday. That means tonight is the night for our weekly wellness workshop. It's got to be a member to get into the weekly wellness workshop. How do you become a member? You just make a purchase with Naturally Inspired. And so go to naturallyinspiredstore.com if you want to take advantage of the buy one, get one free. If you want to take advantage of any of the wellness products there, you spend $50 and that gets you into the Naturally Inspired community. You'll get a Zoom link sent to you. We usually send that out a little later in the day, and that will get you direct access to our weekly wellness workshop. So join us tonight. It's going to be fun. We always talk about, some kind of health topic first. We just spend about 30 minutes doing that, and then we do question and answers. We have a little fun too. It's about community and really taking the time to connect, because most people can find information. They can find the information, the knowledge they need. But really what lacks is that community support, that accountability. And that's what we provide, a little knowledge and a little accountability, a little inspiration. I like to think we have a little bit of everything for everybody. And so weekly wellness workshop tonight, 7:00. Get inspired at naturallyinspiredstore.com. You got any questions at all, just text me 720-303-8868. All right, let's get to the news, rather. Let's not wait anymore. Let's get to the news. Huge announcement last night. Have to admit, it made me a little emotional. This is Trump's Truth Social post. Check this out. The Trump administration is proud to announce the United States of America, updated childhood vaccination schedule. The schedule is rooted in the gold standard of science and widely agreed upon by scientists and experts all over the world. Effective today, America will no longer require 72 jabs for our beautiful, healthy children. We are moving to a far more reasonable schedule where all children will only be recommended to receive vaccination for 11 of the most serious and dangerous diseases. Parents can still choose to give their children all vaccinations if they wish, and they will still be covered by insurance. However, this updated schedule finally aligns the United States with other developed nations around the world. Congratulations to HHS Secretary Bobby Kennedy, CDC Acting Director, blah, blah, blah. Many Americans, especially the Maha moms, have been praying for these common sense reforms for many years. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Bobby Kennedy. And thank you to all the Maha moms and dads that have been gaslit and ridiculed and told they were crazy and told they were an anti-vaxxer and all the rest of it. Thank you for holding down the fort. And thank you for taking all the arrows. Because, at first they ignore you, right? And then they laugh at you. As the saying goes, I believe it was Gandhi, right, that said that. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've been through that process. I cannot tell you how many times I have been through that process. It's true. So if you're fighting a battle right now, and you just know, like you know that you're right, find inspiration in this battle from all of these parents that have stuck to their guns and have been ridiculed, and they're finally getting some recognition for what they have known to be true. Now, I told you many months ago, will we ever get a out and out admission that vaccines cause autism? I don't think we will. And I think it just opens up way too much liability. But see, the culture is changing. And I understand it's not enough. It's not enough. And I'm right there with you. It's not enough. But this is huge, because what's bigger than any regulation, any government, imposition, is that the culture changes. Because that's not going to change in 4 years. And we already know vaccination rates are plummeting. And just talking to all of you, I talk to a lot of grandparents. I talk to a lot of parents, new parents who it's not blind trust anymore. It is not blind trust anymore. And, 7 years ago, it was. It was blind trust. Nobody questioned it. If you did question it, you were a nut job. I know. But it's because of the people who took the arrows that here we are today. And of course, nobody, I don't think, took more public arrows than Bobby Kennedy. So I don't care, what people say about him. I really don't. Like, his personal life is not my concern. This man has taken so many arrows, and man, I'm so grateful for that. I am so grateful for that. Because of that, the culture around vaccines, around big pharma, around health is changing, and nobody can stop that now. Nobody will be able to stop that now. This is a huge win, and I like to think, I had a tiny little sliver of a part in it with Naturally Inspired in my community, with the people I know. We contributed as many organizations and many people all over this country did. It's a huge win for us. It's a huge win for us. So, like I said, it's not everything, but, it's very, very important. It's very, very important decision. And I'm so grateful that Trump kept his word with that. And because I think he's been pretty true to his word when it came to Bobby Kennedy and their deal to unite, after Bobby Kennedy dropped out of the presidential race, because that was a big part of why Trump won, was because they were able to unite these two camps on health. So yeah, I'm just kind of savoring the moment, Is it everything? No, it's not everything. But like I said, the acknowledgement and the reduction in the schedule itself, it's only going to strengthen people and give them the courage they need to make critical decisions about future medical interventions. It's all that needed to be done was an acknowledgement. And we'll take it from here. As Americans, we'll take it from here. So super excited about that and feel grateful about it. Another story on vaccines that I want to cover, because I know this is very important to a lot of people. And here's the other thing about that too. Like, if you want to still get your vaccines, you can, right? So this is like win-win, because nobody loses here, right? If you are, completely committed to the vaccine schedule, you can still get that. Like, this is about freedom here. And if the fact that, Americans are going to be walking around unvaccinated scares you, then, you can either trust in your vaccines, because if you think they work, then they work, right? That's the way it is, because part of our culture in this country is freedom. In fact, when you ask people on the street, it's the number one defining factor of America. What do you think of when you think of America? I think of freedom. That's what most people say. And so we have to practice that, right? But that doesn't mean that they're going to, stop the production of products. And clearly they're not doing that. They're not stopping the production of products. I feel like they're going to be pivoting the production of products because, there's money to be made. And that doesn't mean, well, listen, even your pets are not safe. Check out this quick clip before we go to break.
Most concerned about is that now they're rolling out the self-amplifying mRNA injections for the dogs and cats. They already have rolled it out last year. It's for flu, rabies, and feline leukemia virus. And so these are actively being injected into dogs. The vets, they won't even tell you that these are self-amplifying. It's called Novavax NXT, developed by Merck. So if you go to the vet, make sure they're not getting Novavax NXT. They will become self-amplifying RNA particle factories, and this can probably shed onto the human owners. And it can.
Oh, darn it. Just clip that off just a little too soon there. That was my fault. Recombine. He used the word recombine here. Okay, so one issue we got to talk about, right, is the fact that these self-replicating RNA injections are in your dog's vaccines now. Okay, so me asking, I'm not telling you what to do or I'm telling you what to think, but like, take this into consideration, right? Do your research on this before you just take your dog to get injected, or your cat, for that matter, your pet. So that's something we got to be aware of. Like we needed another thing to worry about on our list, but here we are, right? So make sure you're monitoring that. But also at the very end of this clip here, he talks about, the shedding that these pets, if these are self-replicating, that these pets could shed this injection. And also they can recombine with viruses in the wild and create a Frankenvirus. He didn't say Frankenvirus. That's my word, I think. But this struck me because I've been seeing that. So what we're seeing because of the shedding COVID vaccines, and Lord knows what other mRNA vaccines are out there now. I understand there's flu vaccines and whatnot that are mRNA that are self-replicating. What we're seeing is these weird, Frankenviruses that are turning up. And they're being labeled, common things. But it's like, yeah, that's not common. Like hand, foot, mouth that looks like chickenpox. And in age categories where it shouldn't be showing up. So, and then we're seeing these weird barky coughs and, there's a lot of Frankenviruses out there now. And they weren't here before. And so that's very interesting to me that he's talking about how this thing can recombine. So this self-replicating RNA vaccine, or I'm not calling it a vaccine. It's not a vaccine, right? It's like a gene therapy that it can shed. It can recombine with viruses in the wild to form Frankenviruses, which we're seeing express in people in these weird versions of things like shingles that are kind of shingles, but not really shingles. Like, the hand, foot, mouth thing. Because we saw this go through a number of like gyms and stuff with adults, hand, foot, mouth, and pretty serious looking cases too. Be on the lookout for a Frankenvirus. Stay tuned. More stories to come and your health topic you're not going to want to miss. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Welcome back. Take advantage. Listen, this is just until supplies last. So take advantage of the buy one, get one. I mean, listen, you can spend like $100, $80 or so and get yourself 6 different products. Because they're all buy one, get one free here at naturallyinspiredstore.com. All you got to do is click on the January specials. That'll take you, or you can just scroll down the page. It'll take you to the flip book. And there's over 25 products available on there that are 2 for 1. All things that you should have in your house. Maybe some aloe, maybe some minerals, maybe some gummy omega-3s that are great for kids, and so much more. So check it out. Over 25 products that are available at naturallyinspiredstore.com for buy one, get one free. Have any questions about it? Just text me, 720-303-8868. Next story that I want to cover. So watch your dogs, right? Watch your dogs and make sure you're asking questions about that. And the next story I wanted to cover, though, is from an old familiar face. I feel like everybody knows this movie of Erin Brockovich. Remember that movie? Well, she's kind of surfacing. So take a listen to this.
Now we have an entire country that could potentially be in peril from this forever chemical This destroyed your land, destroyed our farming, destroyed our water, and destroyed public health and welfare. Wow.
There's so much sadness and anger.
This has broken our hearts and crushed our spirit. And I don't know if we'll ever get that back.
Told their farms are shot through with chemicals linked with liver damage, damage to fertility, thyroid issues, and cancer.
All of this land has been poisoned, water contaminated, all of these people touched by this.
Called forever chemicals because they are nearly impossible to destroy. Prime soil, crops, milk tainted in the heartland, leaving many farmers on the brink of ruin.
Suicide among dairy farmers and farmers in general is incredibly high because a lot of these farms, a third, fourth, and fifth generation, you are going to be the person to lose it. Your great-great-great-grandfather cleared the land, and you are going to be the person to have a bankruptcy auction because you can't hold on to the land.
This is the story of how their farmland was destroyed right out from under them.
Greed, money.
We'll take you to ground zero of where it all began.
You never wanted to be an activist.
I just wanted to milk our cows and be left to hell alone.
And show you how far back the paper trail goes.
When they had the choice of do we go public with this or do we sweep it under the rug, they chose the rug.
And with these chemicals now impacting 97% of Americans, according to the CDC, what you and your family.
So, when I first, I was first cleaning up my son's diet, right, after his injury from a flu vaccine and, dealing with multiple bouts of like croup and respiratory issues and stuff like that, which I now know was vaccine injury. It was difficult to go to the grocery store and find foods that weren't poison, And then when I started learning about regenerative farming, I learned about our soils and how depleted they were because of chemicalization. I learned the stories of how farmers were kind of duped into using fertilizers and chemicals to grow instead of using, natural practices that enrich the soil. I was pissed off because to this day, our kids can't walk into a grocery store and pick anything up off the shelf and know that it's nutritious and beneficial to their health if they eat it. No, they have to worry about is this organic? What's in this? Oh, this has dye in it. I can't eat that. Oh, So like my kid's 22 now. That started realizing that when he was 2. So there's 20 years of knowing this. And so can I just talk to you about this? Like, I don't want to seem like this isn't valuable because I think Erin Brockovich is a huge name. She, Julia Roberts starred in her story and she's a huge activist, right? But like, I'll just tell you, during COVID, when they started pushing the vaccine, and here I am, with a kid that I know cannot take this injection, right? I know he cannot take this injection, and everybody's turning on us, right? You're an idiot. You're an anti-vaxxer. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 right? I was praying for Erin Brockovich. I was like, man, if Erin Brockovich finds out about vaccines, then she'll come and she will we need people like this, right? But the weird thing was, none of those people stepped up. And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to be Erin Brockovich because nobody else is doing this. And I quickly found out why nobody else is doing it, because there was no money in it, right? In fact, there was censorship in it. There was danger in it. You lost relationships. You lost a lot for speaking up. And now we're sitting here today, and I'm telling you that the vaccine schedule is down, significantly down. And so I mean, excuse me, but like your outrage now is very convenient because, man, it is so much safer to be outspoken now. It is so much safer. Everybody sees it now. And I just wonder, where were all of these like activists? And I'm not picking on her. I'm sure she's a wonderful person. And, you know, I'm grateful for her work in the past and stuff. But I just wonder, like, man, this has been going on a long time. You know, you had 6 years during COVID to say something about the corruption. But now it's safe. Now it's safe. And there isn't as much at risk. And so I don't know. I just had to kind of voice that because that's how I felt when I finally see this, this thing emerge here. That a lot of people now have no problem talking about this because it is a whole lot safer to do so. It's a whole lot safer. But I will always have, a lot of respect for people like Bobby Kennedy who continued to talk about it when it was not cool. It was not acceptable. It was not safe. And so many of the other like COVID doctors as well that I interviewed during COVID, they had everything to lose. They had everything to lose and nothing to gain. And they did it anyway. And so we'll see. I welcome everybody into the fight. I do. I welcome everybody into the fight because we need it. We need it. I just wanted to cover real quickly too, before we go to break here, a few more things about the vaccine schedule and what was announced today. The National Childhood Vaccine Schedule is overhauled. President Trump issued a directive for HHS and CDC to review, obviously in December, and the schedule. And here are the key changes that have been made. So, reduced number of universal vaccine recommendations. The CDC is reducing the number of diseases children are universally recommended to be vaccinated against. Under the new schedule, 11 diseases are now universally recommended. Vaccines that previously had universal childhood recommendations, like the flu shot, RSV, COVID-19, rotavirus, hepatitis, meningitis vaccines, are no longer universally recommended. So 3 new recommendation categories now. Instead of one universal childhood schedule, the CDC now organized recommendations into 3 categories. Immunizations recommended for all children still includes core vaccines. Immunization recommended for certain high-risk groups are different. Shared clinical decision-making. Parents and clinicians will be encouraged to discuss whether to vaccinate against things like COVID-19, etc. Of course, your insurance companies will still step up and pay for them. That's a whole racket in itself. But anyway, these are some exciting developments. Is it everything that we had hoped for and we're pushing for? No, but it certainly is a start. And like I've always said, government is not going to shape culture. We are. You, me, friends, neighbors, the citizenry in this country shapes culture with our decisions and our actions, right? So this is just a little bit of confidence. I think some people need it, especially, people who are on the fence. This will help them make those decisions, a little easier, knowing that, hey, man, this is the gold standard. And of course, you can always wait, you just have a little bit more freedom now. You don't have to feel so pressured that you must do this, right? Because now the recommendation isn't all of them. You don't have to get 72 injections, into your kid when you add up all of the double doses and the flu shots and the COVID shots and all that stuff, right? It added up to 72. Each one containing a little bit of poison, right? A little bit of adjuvant. All right, stay tuned because your health topic is up next. And you've been asking me a lot about skin. And so we're going to talk about it. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. So I know, we all want our skin to look the best, especially ladies, right? We all want that glow up that we're after, but without the toxins, right? Without the poison, please. Can we do beauty without poison? I think we can. And so today I want to talk about skincare. I want to let you know that we have a great deal on Glow and Renew, which is an AM and PM skin serum duo. It's on sale right now, and you can get it at the naturallyinspiredstore.com. All you have to do is click on Glow and Renew Skin Health, AM, PM skincare. Order here. It'll take you directly to this little powerful duo. All of our skincare products are EWG certified. This is a really great thing. To get an environmental working group designation, you have to be super, super clean. And when it comes to your skin, you want to be super, super clean because your skin is the biggest organ on your body and it sucks everything. It's porous, right? It sucks everything in. And I think we overlook what we're putting on our skin and what that's doing to our bodies. I'm talking hormone disruption. I'm talking, gut disruption. There's a lot of havoc that chemicals that you put on your skin can do to your health. And I think we don't recognize that necessarily. So if you're after a glow up, listen, these are the best products for your skin. I absolutely love them. They feel luxurious and they last forever. A little tiny bit. You only need a little tiny bit, and these products will last you a very long time. So go to naturallyinspiredstore.com, click on the Skin Health, Glow and Renew, and order from there. Now let's get into why you want to go clean with your skincare products. So 7 things you need to know about phthalates and toxins in skincare. Number 1, the word fragrance. It's a legal loophole. Okay, it's a catch-all. When you see fragrance or perfume on a label, it can legally hide dozens of chemicals. Okay, and that includes phthalates. Manufacturers are not required to disclose them because fragrance formulas are considered trade secrets. And so if it smells good but won't tell you how, be very cautious. Okay. Number 2, phthalates are endocrine disruptors. So, you're wondering about why you're struggling as much as you are, maybe through perimenopause or menopause. It's time to clean up. Okay. I know I talk about insulin resistance a lot when it comes to hormones, and that is definitely a variable, but also these phthalates are endocrine disruptors. And so I think the average woman puts on like 200 different chemicals or something before they leave the house every morning after they go through their regular, morning routine of showering, washing hair, putting on makeup, putting on lotion, whatever. You're exposing yourself to over 200 chemicals before you even leave the house. Okay. And then think about it. A lot of these products, they get FDA approval in small doses. right? So, a little bit of this isn't going to hurt anybody, but that's what they're getting approval on, this little tiny bit. They're not getting approval on the compounded exposure of all the little tiny bits in all the things that you're using each and every day. And that's what's stacking up and creating havoc in our bodies. So the cleaner, the things that you can get, the cleaner you can go, the things you can control, because we can't control the air, right? We don't control the oxygen. There's a lot of things we don't control. So the things we put on our bodies, the things we put in our bodies, we can control. And so we need to, because this lessens the toxic burden. So phthalates interfere with hormone signaling, especially estrogen, testosterone, and thyroid hormones. So this research of endocrine disruptors is linked to early puberty. We all see that. We all see that happening in our kids. It leads to fertility issues. I don't think we've ever had so much problem with people getting pregnant in our culture ever. Hormone imbalance, and even developmental effects in children. So skin absorption matters. This isn't just about ingestion, right? It's not just about what you're eating. It's about what you're putting on your skin as well. And skin is not a barrier, right? I think we forget that because, we're waterproof, but it's actually a doorway. We're porous, right? So our skin absorbs what we put on it directly right into the bloodstream, and bypassing the liver's first pass detox too. So common offenders, lotions, anti-aging products, creams, sunscreen, perfumes, body sprays, body sprays, you think you're spraying it on your body, but you're also breathing it in. Anything you spray, you're inhaling as well. So you're getting kind of a double dose. So what goes on your skin behaves more like a drug than a cosmetic. Number 4, daily exposure creates chemical load. So you may not react to one product, but multiple daily products compound exposure. So like I said, a cleanser here, a moisturizer here, some makeup here, shampoo, deodorant, cleaning sprays. Think about all the things that you're coming in contact with and the burden that has on your body. The body can detox. You have detox pathways, but only up to a certain point, right? Where it becomes overburdened. So chronic low dose exposure adds up, and we have to consider that. Even though these things get FDA approval a lot of the time, again, at what dose, at what exposure? That's something we're not being told. Clinically tested does not mean long-term safe necessarily. So most common cosmetics, safety testing looks like short-term irritation. Does it cause redness or anything on the skin? Or allergic response? It does not assess for hormone disruption. It does not assess for fertility impact. It does not assess for neurological effects, lifelong cumulative exposure. And so absence of evidence doesn't equal evidence of safety. This is the trick here, okay? Especially with pharmaceutical companies and big corporations. The trick is don't test, don't tell. Right? If we don't test, we don't have to tell. And so they don't test. They don't go looking for problems with their products. They do the bare minimum. They do what they have to do to get the product to market. And then, they stay away from testing as much as possible because, testing will create liability. And so that's why, some of these products that are on the line, on the market these days, it's like the vaping and stuff. We have no idea the long-term effects of that. None. And I get it. Like, how are we going to know the long-term effects if we don't put it on the market? I understand that. But the premise of it, why do we need vaping? We're trying to get everybody off of smoking. What value does vaping have? It's fun? At what cost? You know, it just doesn't really make sense. And I think about with the beauty industry as well. Like we're starting to learn the long-term effects of Botox and injections. We're starting to, and it is not looking good. You know, so there are natural resources for achieving a healthy glow, right? With your skin. Children and teens are actually more vulnerable. So developing brains and hormone systems are far more sensitive to endocrine disruptors. So also this goes for perimenopause and menopause. Do you ever find yourself a little bit more affected by smells now than say you were, you know, in your 20s or 30s? That's a good sign that possibly your toxic bucket is getting too full. You know, does it bring on a headache? Is it just irritating? Can you smell it a mile away? I know, like I've been clean so long with a lot of my products that I use every day that I can smell things like, you know, really phthalated. Is phthalated a word? I don't know. Heavy phthalates, heavy phthalates in like detergent or what. I can smell it a mile away. I can smell it a mile away because I'm just not used to it. So anyway, so if you are in a vulnerable hormonal moment, like perimenopause or menopause, or men, if you're around 50, you know, where you're seeing a decrease in testosterone and hormone changes, you're more susceptible, you're more vulnerable to this having a negative impact on you. Same as our kids when they're going through puberty, right? Because they're having this hormone change as it is. And so it makes you more sensitive. So be careful about things like baby lotion and even teen acne treatments or scented body sprays, right? Remember, everybody remembers the whole Axe era, I'm sure. Woo-wee, that was a lot of phthalates. So early exposure can influence lifelong health trajectories. So you want to be mindful of this. Number 7, simpler labels generally means a safer product, right? So the safest skincare tends to have short ingredients lists, but no synthetic fragrance, plant-based, transparent sourcing. Look for labels like EWG because the Environmental Working Group is a hard designation to get. So anything that they approve is a great standard. It's set aside from the FDA, right? It's an independent nonprofit group that does testing in this category. And so, you know, it's a valuable standard to go by. That's for sure. So your skincare routine is a daily chemical decision. And I know we all want that glow up. I love it. I love my product line for skin. Like the cleanser is fantastic. I use it daily, and I love this little duo that they have available now, and it's at a discounted on sale rate. You can get 2, the mini serum duo. And again, you just need a little bit of it. And so if you're looking at the price and you're thinking, well, you know, that's kind of expensive. Not really, because it lasts a very long time. And now you can get it at a discounted price. And this is only while supplies last. I was told this just Sunday night that this is going on, that it was going on sale, number 1, but that it's only while supplies last. So now's a great time to try it. And it's the mini serum duo. All you have to do is go to naturallyinspiredstore.com, naturallyinspiredstore.com, and you can get the skincare routine there. It's the perfect time to create a clean skincare swap at the beginning of the year. This is something that we're all using on a daily basis when it comes to personal care products. It's time to start phasing some of those old toxic ones out and some clean ones in. This is a very, very important part of lessening your toxic burden, and such an easy one, right? Same like cleaning products. Easy swap. I love our cleaning products too. Like, they really work. Anyway, Thanks so much for joining me today. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I am Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. I'm so glad you joined me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.